Hey, Kevin and Noe here, Fight Designer LLC, and testing out a few new toys today, a few new things. But you might notice I've got a slightly different background here. I realized some of the things I was trying to show, especially with the muzzle flash effect on the smoke and flash LED silencers, suppressors, the green screen effect kind of changed it, like just made it look a little weird. And so I wanted a way to give a little bit of a better impression, so I figure this will give me a better background than trying to green screen stuff. First up today, though, I've got a shell ejecting spring blowback G19X. Now, I've had a bunch of these shell ejecting spring blowback versions up here before. So the brand on this is Mulifang, is how they're translating it. It does have some instructions, but, you know, again, all in Chinese. Some spare parts. If I could figure out how to actually replace the spring if I needed to. It's possible one of these springs might also be a little bit firmer, which could be kind of fun to have a little bit more action, but in general, you know, they work without the rounds. That's just a blowback, you know, gasless blowback. Spring blowback's the term I've been using. This is one of the laser ones, so if I wanted to show a muzzle shot, I'd need to take the muzzle out. There's a little set screw up top. You could take the laser out of the front if you did not want the little red dot. That looks like it's not on anywhere right now. But if you wanted to be able to see a head-on shot, that might make it look a little bit better. I wish they had an actual Glock 19. To me, I wanted something a little bit different, and this is somewhat different, but less different than an actual Glock 19. The Glock 19X is a little more unusual. Kind of it's a compromise, you know. But as with the other, you know, build quality is not bad. The spring's still definitely weaker than gas blowback, but it feels good. We got full trademarks. It's a good option to have. The Glock 17 is standard duty issue. Glock 19, though, it can work as a police issue, and it also can work as a concealed carry. So I've had a lot of, gotten some good use out of the Glock 19s from Umarex, the gas blowbacks, and I've got a bunch of those. And one of the Glock 19Xs. Now, the Glock 19X is similar to a Glock 19. It's got more of the frame, the grip size of a Glock 17 with the slide of a Glock 19. So it's a bit of a hybrid, depending on relative needs of hand size and concealability and all that. But a couple things we can show about this here. We got I'm guessing this metal in here is just for the added weight, really. Just to give it a little bit more of the feel of a real prop, of a real Glock. Doesn't seem too functional, but in general, the rest of this is all plastic. But you know, it looks pretty good. We got decent grip, trademarks. Glock 19X also has a slightly flared mag well. You can see how it opens up there to facilitate magazine changes. But a lot of great details on this, so it's as prop replicas go. You know, we even got a serial number on there. So hey, a lot to like there. You know, the round is not a great color. They can be painted, or I've also, as you can see in some of my previous videos, I've experimented with 3D printing some. Or there's probably other places you can get some. These are some that I got off Temu, not knowing exactly what they'd work on. They're not exactly the same. They will eject from this, but they don't chamber correctly. The slide doesn't quite go into the battery. They don't fit quite right. And now what I want to do is, one of the tests that the Glock 17 failed was this sort of Snorricam kind of thing, where I'm setting a camera actually on the prop itself, the Picatinny rail. It gives an interesting perspective. It can show shell ejection nicely, if that's what we're trying to highlight. It is, the mechanism on the Glock 17 one was just weak enough that this interfered with it, and it would make the slide not quite move right. So let's see if this works with the Glock 19X. So we'll catch the shell casings as they go as well. Wish me luck with that part. Oh, yeah, one work. One works, next one jams. Let's try that again, shall we? See what happens. All right. So, a little more reliable. Good to know. Now, this Snorricam kind of setup, an actual Snorricam is where it's like locked to your actor, usually braced from like a hip brace and things like that. And so it moves with their face. Everywhere they move, it moves. It's a very specific effect, usually limited use, but for some insert shots, it can be kind of fun. And this is just something a little similar, but from the Snorricam for your gun, if you will. So just to give you a couple of quick comparisons here. This is a different box. This is the Multifang, this is the Glock 17, Glock 19X. But it is the same brand. It is the same shells. So comparing the spring blowback shell ejecting Glock 17 Gen 4 to the Glock 19X. You can see the slide is a little bit shorter, but the grips are very similar in length. We've got the lanyard attachment and the slightly different magwell kind of area. Oh, interesting. This one comes with like a magwell plug. Or not magwell, what do they call those? The little hollow space that they have in the back of a lot of Glocks. At least they used to. So very similar build quality, markings, everything like that. But slightly different oomph to it. Might actually be the exact same spring, but the slightly heavier slide. That might be why this one was able to cycle even with the attachment of the camera, and this one cycles without it, but didn't with. Could be, but yeah, same foam, same shells, all that. And comparing it to, my Glock 19X is in storage downstairs somewhere, and it's a tan one. But comparing it to the Ejecting Glock 19, it is a little bit different. Some of that's just the 19X versus the 19 in terms of like the bevels on the edges of the slide there. If you can see those, a little bit better optimized for carry there, whereas this one, the straight up Glock 19 is a little bit more squared. Got some different sights. If you're looking at whether or not this could stunt double for it, what's going to be different? That's one of the considerations you're going to have. Slightly different tone. There's a little bit more, I don't know if it comes across on video, a little more gray on this 19X than there is on the Ejecting Glock 19. Markings are a little bit different. This one has the officially licensed, that one doesn't. Some markings up here that one doesn't have. But they both have the inset trigger. They have the same markings at the bottom of the mag, all that. But as you can see, the grip size is the biggest difference. So 19 in front, 19X behind. The 19X definitely has a bigger grip. So this one's going to be, I find the Glock 19 is actually pretty darn ideal in terms of just as much as you need to be able to fit all of your fingers and no more. Whereas the 17, I've got a little extra here that I don't necessarily need. Yeah, you get higher capacity, but for most of what I'm doing as an armor, I don't really care about capacity. Because it's more about how much green gas it'll hold anyway. But if I'm looking at one of the more compact models like a Glock 26, obviously your unless you've got the little mag extension, your pinky just has nothing to grab onto. So yeah, it's still quite usable, but not a full grip the way the 19 will give you. So I think the 19 is a good compromise. At least for my hands, the 19X is a little bit of an unnecessary extension here, but I'm usually not doing these for me. I'm renting them for someone else. And if all you see is this, the 19 and the 19X are going to be pretty darn similar, because you can't really see how long the grip is there anyway in that shot. So if I just wanted to get an insert shot of some shells flying out and they had a Glock 19, I would call this good enough. The markings here aren't going to show unless we're seeing it from the back. And most people aren't paying that close attention anyway. So things like a little bevel there, whatever, they're just not going to notice. It'll work fine. So once again, shell ejecting Glock 19X, spring blowback, no gas needed, no batteries. And as with all the props we've seen here on the YouTube channel, available for through Fight Designer LLC at fightdesigner.com.